Okay, well, it's 10:20. I'll have this notice of a workshop meeting of the Commissioners Court of Titus County, which is held here on the 18th day of November, and it's following the Commissioners Court that we just finished up with. And so we'll start again with another prayer and another pledge.
Dear Father, Lord, I just thank you for all you do for us, Lord. Just ask you just to go with us now if we go into this workshop. Just give us wisdom that we need to do what's right for Titus County. Just lift up each and every one of the ones that are here. Ask you just to watch over us, Lord, and take care of us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's been a couple of months ago that TAC had stopped by and spoke with Dana and myself, and then Dana and Ms. Sharon have had to pull a lot of paperwork together for us, and I want to tell y'all how much we appreciate y'all and y'all's time spent on all that. And we'll start with this workshop going over the insurances and some of those things. Dana, you want to start with?
Yes, first I want to say that this is just a workshop, and I'm glad that y'all agreed to sit down. We need to go over this handbook and put in exactly what you as commissioners feel like need to be put in here. I sent you a list when we met with TAC. They reviewed our handbook, and she sent us a list of the changes that she felt like needed to be changed in our handbook. And I sent those to you, so let's just start from the top. The first was to use gender-neutral pronouns. That's y'all's decision.
What y'all need to know is we're not going to take action on this today as well. This is something to discuss, and we'll have it on the next Commissioners Court. I understand that. There has been some election changes. I don't believe that. Understand with TAC what they're saying on that. I don't believe Titus County has got to go with that. That's just my personal opinion. All four of y'all are going to have opinions on that as well, and we can certainly discuss it and then put that on there. But these are just topics that we're going to talk about.
I know that it hasn't. We have one grant that it hasn't affected. I think they were saying a lot of the federal grants, when they looked at your handbook, they wanted this in there. So I don't know. Danette, do you have anything to say? Right, it'd just be a question for them. And at that time, if it was, and we wanted to come back and change it, we could. That's up to y'all.
When we did the ARPA, there were some things that we needed to verify and make sure that they supplied to the grant writers at that time from the handbook. So I know that there are specific things that they asked for. That was not one of them with ARPA, but they asked for the seatbelt policy. So you never know what they're going to ask for.
Okay, then on 1A3, under the equal employment opportunity, I gave you a list there. They're saying we're missing some actions that need to, wording that need to be put in there. So I don't know if y'all have an opinion on that or not, but 1A-3, on page 3 of the handbook.
Yeah, they do.
Well, if you're looking at your handbook, just turn to, it's on page 3 of the handbook where it says equal employment opportunity.
Chris, you're going to need one of these. Let me make sure she makes it extra.
I think that one is favorable. Okay, and
What they will be changed?
but this one is EEO, and it is going to be federal mandate. Yes. like I am saying, this is anything EEO that is federal. So that missing text needs to be added in there.
What if they change that with the government?
That's federal law. Kind of like our FMLA and all that stuff. We don't have any say-so on that.
Yeah, we have to have that.
We have to have that.
When they-
That's the equal, like when we give someone a application, we have that attached saying we're equal employment
TAC
opportunity.
suggested us to put that in there?
Do what?
TAC is the one that suggested this to be added.
Updating the requirement for your.
But it's our choice, we don't have to do that if we decide not to.
Sir?
That's our choice, though, to do this, or this.
For the EEO part, it'll be federal.
Huh?
For the EEO part.
She's talking about
that's a
on
federal
one,
reduction.
on the they, their, them, that's our choice.
That's our-
Okay.
And when we move down here to one, my understanding, that's a federal equal, and hopefully that may change as well.
Yeah.
In other words, we have no opinion on any of the other ones. If it's provided to you by the federal government, that's their regulation.
So we have to change one unless something changes in the next 90 days after the election. Yeah.
I'll tell you exactly what's going to change in that first component, but probably not this one.
Okay, if you'll turn over to 1B9, which is, talks about our breaks, and we have in there, about a mother being able to express breast milk, and we had a time frame in there, and we need to remove that. We had during the first year, but as you can tell, it's the Affordable Care Act amended the Fair Standards Act, and so we just need to remove that 1 year time frame.
So as long as the mama wants to do it, then we've got to allow it to be done, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Following the birth of the child, so that's what we make.
Yeah, it just says following birth of child. Any questions? No? Okay. Okay. If you'll turn over to ID 6, which is on page 21. They requested that we add prohibited social media on county devices. It's real long, and it talks about a bunch of different stuff, but it actually doesn't say that. So that would be y'all's choice if you, but
Where you want that? I thought that we've already had that here, about 3 paragraphs down. What is that? No policy or guidelines
where there's,
exist.
that's just saying they're expected to use their personal judgment. She is saying we need to actually say that it's prohibited.
Prohibited on-
And right now, the
What we're
way it
talking about is
states is
on-
we're just giving it up to their personal.
On computers and cell phones that the county's paying for, correct?
But cell phones are just a reimbursement, so we can't really.
Can't mandate it anyway. So the only thing that we're
But it
talking
would be
about
the
is on your
computers.
personal
Yeah.
computers here.
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily need to be on that. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it on their phones anyway, so it don't make, so I understand what you're saying. We need to add it in there. That way if they do it, we do have something on there for that, but.
Right, if someone was-
99% of people that are getting on Facebook aren't getting on their computers at work and doing it. They're sitting at their computer at work on their telephone looking at it, so I don't know that we're going to, at least we'll stop it from being on county stuff. So.
Less.
Well, like some of the departments, like the district courts and stuff, they post their court stuff on there.
No, they're saying, well, they do.
So it doesn't tie by like a department. But I see it all the time, Drew, and
I think what this is trying to cover, and Dana, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm thinking this is for people just getting on there, scrolling the Facebook and stuff. This is
Personally, right.
personal use of it, not necessarily to counsel court and the jury's not having to come show up. This is, I'm assuming, say, Facebook, YouTube.
Right, if Sharon was not completing payroll and she was staying on Facebook on her computer, then that would give me the opportunity to write her up, because it says in here, no, I mean, we're not going to allow it on
Right.
computers. That's all that would do.
People can check that.
Yeah.
And that the IT people can check it, so, perfect.
Okay, if we'll move to vacation, which is on page 33 and 34. This, and then 2B4 is sick, and these kind of go together, so we'll talk about vacation first. Our vacation right now, we can accumulate 240 hours, and then on our sick, we can accumulate 480. Well, when TAC was like, you guys are very generous, that when a vacation is a benefit for when someone is working, they get to take off from work and then they come back. But we're paying these people when they leave, so if they've accumulated 240 hours, then whether they get fired or whether they just quit, that we pay them for that. And any unused, and it's in the handbook.
We pay them any unused at the point, unless we go back to the anniversary date and pay them for any accrual up to their date of termination.
So we pay them what they have, and then anything that they would have had up to that date. So,
And that's some hefty checks at times.
I think we definitely need to look at that and
That's
kind of rein that back.
Discuss that.
Most people, if they're going to retire, they're going to whatever, they're going to use their vacation before that, and if not,
and you're
we're
giving
sitting
them
on-
the opportunity to take it before then.
Right. If they don't
And-
take it, then we're not going to pay it, is basically the way I feel about it. And the reason being, if not, if they take off and you've got to pay all this time, you've got to have another employee come in and start working, so you're paying them plus that employee, the new employee.
If you've got enough money in your budget to do it. Yep.
That's what, in the past, until Barbara fixed that, I know some of you guys had issues because they wouldn't let you hire anybody because of your budget, because they had all that time. And if you're writing someone a check for $8,000 because they've accumulated all this, it takes a lot of money out of your budget. You know, but the way that,
We spent about $100,000 last year paying people their accrued time when they retired and terminated. Because we went ahead and made a line item for it in the general budget rather than departments having to incur those costs. It's why we've not had the whole positions open. I was very, very surprised when we had TAC tell us that that was not a requirement, because I believe most corporations and stuff believe that you're accruing this over a period of time, so it's accrued. But we were surprised to know that it's actually a fringe benefit.
it's a benefit.
It's a benefit,
It's
isn't
not
it?
For an
like
employee.
paid to work for it like comp time. It was kind of surprising. We were like, oh,
And
And
it's
that takes a
federally, you
lot.
do not have to pay it either.
Right. And the same thing goes for the sick. We're doing the same thing on the sick. Now, I know these. Do what? Well,
Only a fourth if they.
Well, a fourth of it we pay. But, you know, even that, it's a benefit for whenever someone's sick, they have that time to take off and then they come back to work. But to pay them when they leave, it's just an expense on the county that we could be saving. So do y'all have any discussion about that?
It's just given to them on behalf of the county, say, here, we appreciate what, it's not a paid deal. We're not.
Right, but when you fire somebody, you pay them too.
Like I said, it's different when somebody quits or get fired. If you.
No, it's not. If you're paying one, you got to pay the other.
Yeah, it's not distinguished in here.
Right.
And I think it's because they always stood on the thing that if your person had 3 weeks of time on the books, then you couldn't hire someone for 3 weeks. leave. So budgetarily and the impact at that particular time, it was absorbed by not hiring the position.
But now you're seeing the impact of that money, like she said, over $100,000
We're
worth.
seeing it in a different avenue. But I think that's why some places say, this is the time of the year you need to have all your vacation taken by this time of the year to kind of, make sure that they don't build it so they don't lose
It's
it.
not necessarily a building problem is there, as much as if you fire someone or something saying that you've got to pay that. And I think that's what we need to clarify more than building up. I don't mind them building up, but they're not going to get paid for it. They're going to have to use that, either the sick leave or the vacation time, instead of paying for it, a benefit.
They need to be encouraged to use it.
Right.
That's what it's for. Give you that break. Come back refreshed.
Right.
I would look into the thing of exactly, I know what Kate has said, but I think we ought to have that looked under really firmly before the court makes some kind of a decision, just to make sure there's not some situation where the person can say, I didn't take it and I earned it because I was denied. You do something, what we can put in place to make sure that if they requested it and they didn't get it, it opens, what I'm saying is most people just pay it because it opens something up. Let's make sure that we have all of our information.
But federally, it doesn't open it up. It's a federal law that you don't have to pay that.
She said
Right.
we were being generous by paying that out.
Right.
And yes, the department heads have to approve the time off, and they shouldn't be able to deny it and just make them
If
get
that's
their
their
time.
time, we don't know that piece, so what do we have in place to protect the county if that were the case or something? We have to show. We don't see their approval papers where they request, like when most companies that request vacation, they get it approved and then it's turned in.
We said after the fact.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if someone would have something.
I was part of one of the places send an email, and then I reply to it.
Right.
However, the wording needs to be on that, Dana, if we can check with TAC on that and see.
Okay, on number 6 is turn to 28-9, which is page 37, if you have the handbook. Okay, and the reason this came up, well, first of all, I guess, TAC goes around to lots of counties and updates their handbooks and stuff, and she was really surprised at how generous Titus County is. We have about 40 to 42 people that are eligible to retire right now in Titus County. If they wanted to leave today and retire, they could. That's a lot of people, that's a lot of retirees that's going to hit our book. But the main thing that I wanted to verify on here is the medical insurance that we offer the retirees. Right now, when you have a retiree, they can stay on our policy till they're 65 years old. And we pay for that. And it cost us it was $200,000 a year right now with the 17 employees that we have to cover them for their medical and the county share, just the county share. Okay, right now the retirees, when they retire, we pay for theirs, and then their spouse piggybacks, and they pay 100% of their spouse right now, okay? But when that retiree turns 65 and they are no longer they have to go off, because that's what our policy says, then they've still just been paying the $255, but now it's costing them nobody to piggyback on. So now they become the more or less employee. It's costing the county $968, and they're paying $255. So we're not breaking even on any, or even coming close to any of that. So, you know, if we continue to do, if we continue to do that, then
We're going to go broke.
you just don't have enough, I just don't see where there's enough money to do that. Right now, they're paying 100% because they're piggybacking off of their employee. But when that employee turns 65, or retiree, when that retiree turns 65, they have to come off our policy, go on Medicare. So then that moves the other one up. Well, we could still offer them 100% of insurance, but just they pay 100% of what it costs the county.
Still be
Because the
cheaper for
benefit was
them.
for the retiree. We're
Right.
taking care of the person that worked here, you know, not the whole family. We've offered them that insurance.
But it would still be a discount to them, because if they're on at $900, it'd be hard to find insurance anywhere for $1,200,
Right.
$1,300.
And most of it's not going to affect people, but maybe a couple years, the spouses, unless it's a woman, most of the time the man's older than the spouse, and so maybe 2 years or whatever it would affect, because they're going to, you know, until that spouse turns 65, and then they have to come off the policy, because we don't allow anybody to stay on the policy past 65. That's just something that we currently need to, you guys need to think about on how you want to handle that.
I would definitely need to look at that for sure.
And the thing about it is, I don't know that it specifies.
How it's worded, because we were talking about the employee portion versus the
We
employee.
think that they would pay what it costs the county for that insurance. If it was $255, when the person goes off, you would think they pay the $968. I mean.
It's the taxpayer's dollar.
The insurance, I don't know that we've had an abundance of these, and evaluating what we have now, I'm like, why would they not pay what the balance, what their insurance is costing?
Before there were changes of the policy of August of 14, it says spouse and dependent coverage shall be available at the standard employee rate until age 65. And then with the August of 14 changes, since this applies to employees' insurance as well as dependent coverage, which will be paid by the employee at the prevailing dependent rate. So it doesn't ever say the employer rate.
It did originally, and now it's so, but that's something that you all need to think about how you want to handle that. One other suggestion that was made is that we have a lot of people that retire early from the county because they can, and when they leave here, they stay on our insurance because, of course, we're paying for it, and they keep their spouses on the insurance. But if they go to work somewhere else that offers insurance, if you retire here at 50 and then you want to go work at a different county or city or whatever, and they offer insurance, well, they have to reject that insurance. They have to say they don't want it, because they can't use this as a primary or secondary or whatever. So, that could be something that you could even put in there. If they leave, if they're leaving here and retiring and going to work somewhere else, they're not really retiring. They could go take up that other insurance where else, which would cover them. That's an option.
Sign a form.
Find a form.
If it's offered to them at another employer.
If it's not offered, you still can take it.
Employer's policy is your primary.
Right.
But they're declining those employer policies to stay in this one.
What about those that don't offer it?
It's retiring.
Right, but what about those that don't offer it?
Well, if they don't
Understand
offer
that,
it,
but-
it's,
If they don't offer it, then of course they would stay on because they wouldn't.
Like in the framework of when you go on the insurance, if your spouse has insurance available where they work, that they have to go on their insurance, that they have to disclose it, and you pay a little bit, they have to pay a little bit more.
well, Well, they have to take theirs first, and then ours would be secondary. So they're just going to be paying an additional premium here that they normally pay, but they have to be on that employer.
But we don't have that in place, do we?
Yeah, we have a board member
Saying that they're in place.
That clarifies if their spouse is being added, if they work somewhere that offers it, that they have to be on there first before they can be on ours.
It would also be cheaper if y'all would pay a supplement on your people at 65 that's still working, over 65, because it would cost you $150 versus what you pay $900 or $900 or something like that.
It would, but I think I talked to TAC about that, but we can't do that because we're discriminating against age. So as long as you're here, it doesn't matter what your age is. If you're a full-time employee, we have to offer the benefits to, even though it costs us more, to you as we do everybody else.
Okay.
We can't discriminate against age for a person that, for an employee. So do y'all have any comments on any of that? Right now, if we were to make that change, we would have two people that it would affect. Yeah, one for, which both of those actually would be going off the policy, and we have one that will be going off in March of -- and then we have another one that would be going off in July of '25. So, which means the retiree has already retired, and they're just paying, the dependent coverage, and we're paying the rest of it. Yes, the premium would change on those two people.
And in the August of 14 changes they made to the policy, anybody hired on or after January 1st of 15 does not have dependent coverage at retirement anymore.
Right. See, we stopped it then anyway. So, but there's a lot, but most of these people were here before then,
At the end of the day, I don't think that they're going to have a problem with it. They're going to get insurance at a discounted rate. It's just not the taxpayer's responsibility to pay these other people's insurance. I get that. As long as they were employed here, that's a benefit of being an employee of Titus County. But what we've got to look at is down the road and seeing what's going on. That's costing around $700-800 per person to the county. We keep saying us. That's the taxpayers' money that we're looking at there, and I think that it needs to be whatever that premium is, then that benefit that they're getting, that is
And
still
like
a
I say,
benefit for them.
The
but they
longer
will
these
pay
people work here by this policy, that they're not going to be offered that anyway. It's not going to be after they can't even put this.
January of next year, that's already cleared us 10 years.
Right.
People that won't have dependent coverage that was hired.
I just think that we need to put it in there in writing. Whatever that premium goes to, then your spouse or whoever you're carrying on there will pay that amount. I mean, that's just the only fair way to do it. Anybody else have any questions on that?
Well, Sharon, do you have anything else? Did you have something you wanted to comment?
Yes, a couple things. The acknowledgement page that all the employees sign when they come in and sign up, just, it's page I. There's one part that says, I understand I will be granted compensatory time off and lieu of payment of overtime to the extent provided by law, and I may be required to take it off at the county's discretion. Well, we're not doing that for everybody now, so that needs rewording.
Yes.
And that's just, we'll come up with the rewording of that later. Okay. There's several places in here because this position used to fall under the auditor's office, where it says see the auditor's office or go to the auditor's office. All those need change to treasurer's office. And there's problems with those places maybe, so that'll be one of them. We need to add the job announcement policy. We just have it at the back as an amendment now. We need to insert it. Y'all already approved that back in, I think, April of this year. So it just needs inserted in the right spot. see what page 28 says. It talks about, again, on page 28, it's 2A11 overtime calculation rules. Overtime compensation shall be paid in the form of compensatory time off. So some of that just needs reworded because of the changes that were made at the first of the fiscal year to some of the departments that are actually paid now. So that just needs to change. No, I think we covered everything else.
Okay. I have one more thing, 2811. We just need to add into our Family Medical Leave Act, we need to add mental health, which is LE, to that also.
On that mental health and stuff, if they're home for mental health, they can't work part-time, that's total off, is that not right?
You mean FMLA, can
It
be
falls-
intermittent or
Yeah.
full-time or?
What about the mental part, can it be? If we've got a mental problem, we don't need them up here.
If they have their med
Okay, really?
certification, if they give us the med certification that we request with FMLA, it should dictate in there what their able to work, restricted or restrictions or no restrictions. What page was that?
38.
38, look at 2811. Yes, she said we needed to add mental health.
No, that's why she won't add it on 2811.
Because that med certification will tell us that they can work.
So there is a med
We're
cert.
the only ones that see that, so.
Perfect. Well, I know there'd be some,
I've been noticing on the tapes on there about, on the time sheets and stuff, and you got some people working under 40 hours, and everybody, most people working over 40 hours. But the people that's working 38, 36 get the same benefits as a full-time. You know.
Yeah, because 6 not accrued, it's just plopped in at the end of the year. Now, we hope, we're looking forward to when we get this new system, all of this is going to accrue. So it means, hopefully, we got our fingers crossed, that if you work 38, you're not going to get the whole 4-hour month leave. It will be based on how many hours you work.
be prorated by the hours you've worked.
Yes, yes.
You approve your time based on hours worked. The system should just accrue it for you, so that you will know exactly what you accrue. So if you're a 32-hour-a-week person, and you're supposed to be a 40, and you do that on a regular basis, it will impact those numbers.
Impact your retirement too.
No.
It's a percentage of your gross.
That's a percentage, you can't do that.
It affects their retirement pay.
Yeah, it does that in
They
pay.
get deducted that amount. It affects them.
But, you know, like I said, it's not right for people here, come up here, work 40 hours plus, and then you've got somebody that get the same benefits and work the whole 40 hours a week.
Yes.
Our system should fix
Hopefully the
that.
new system will fix that.
I just want to clarify, a lot of times you'll have individuals that are using their own time. So it doesn't mean they necessarily have to work that amount. So if there's someone working 36 hours, taking 4 hours of sick, they're still
Right,
getting paid.
Yeah, it's determined on that. It shows
Yeah.
every time she
Yeah.
When we say
They've got
hours
40,
worked,
but,
it
you know,
includes.
But that adds to 40.
You've got to have 40 no matter what.
Yeah, it includes that. So whenever you're applying those parameters, it also is included.
You know, I like, you got somebody,
Another question. We have people who do, employees who do have leave on the book, but they want to take off, but they choose not to use their leave. So we have nothing that says if you're off and you have to leave, you shall use that.
What are they using?
And if we,
They
but
cite
the,
it for some reason later. Don't know why, but there's nothing that says we have to, I learned the hard way. I did that automatically a few times when I first started, and I was told they were saving it.
We need to put that in the handbook, because that's what Dana's discussing there.
but the thing about it is, if you guys stop letting them get paid for it when they leave here and stuff, then that I mean, they're not going to get it anyway, so there's a possibility, they're going to want to
They'll
use
start
it.
using it.
You know, they're going to want to use it because they don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
It manages itself, if you have the criteria in place. it'll
Right,
manage itself.
so that would kind of fix that issue.
I think that
You know.
that's the way we go about it.
Right. And that would be the same way that the vacation will.
You can save your vacation, but
It's
you better
going to,
use it
it's
before
going
you
to
leave.
depend on
Yeah.
how much you work to be
Right.
able to get, so at the end of the year, I mean, if they're, when they come in and say, well, I didn't get my whole 80 hours and I've been here a year. Okay, well, because you didn't work 40 hours a week every week to accumulate that, because it's accrued on, you know, it would work like that in vacation also. You know, now, if they've got leave and they, you know, it accumulates that too. So if
Do we
you,
need to-
as long as it says 40,
Do we need to
however
change
you
that in
get
the
that.
handbook in case this doesn't work, or you think this system's going to work so that we don't have to worry about it as well?
Well, the handbook already reads that.
The handbook reads that way, but we just can't,
It tells you that.
Yeah, already reads
the
that.
handbook does that, but we can't really use it in our system because our system doesn't.
Because
allow
it's
it.
not
Yes.
doing the numbers right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Top of page 34 tells you how much is accrued if you've been here less than 10 years or you've been here 10 years.
And it is approved up to X amount of hours, so that takes out the parameter of any overtime work. You're based on your 80, or you're based on your 120.
So I guess my question is, do we want to, in court on our next, do we want to put these as take action items and
We'll
do
have to
these
have
as
action items
individual
on-
items?
Yes,
And
individual.
then come back and do the handbook and because I
And then
need
you'll
to
have-
know
Then we'll have
this
to okay
first.
the handbook in court,
Okay.
yes.
Or do you want me to do the okay, so
You
y'all.
can do them
y'all gonna come
before.
and do it.
You can do them before, but the only problem with that is.
If it's
You
wrong,
don't know
then-
which one's
yeah.
going to be
Right.
accepted and which
Yeah,
one's
that's
not.
right.
So it'd be
Okay,
kind of
gotcha.
hard to have the handbook filled out without knowing what these gentlemen want to vote on, what
Okay,
they don't.
so we'll just put this
So
on the
we can put it
agenda.
on this agenda.
Kinda like
The next
this.
agenda, like that, we'll vote them, we'll have action on each one of those. And then the next
Then we'll
time we
print.
meet, then we'll have the whole handbook
Okay.
and present it as one. Is everybody good with that?
Yes, I will.
I don't think you can do it any other way. I don't think they can have it typed up if we don't know how we're going to vote, so.
Okay, that's good.
Anybody got any questions?
We were told if our handbook is outdated by year or two, it's always going to be outdated anyways.
Right.
If it's that old.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Got a motion made to adjourn by Commissioner Mitchell. Second by Commissioner Parchman. All those in favor? Aye. The 10:53 will adjourn.